First human monkey embryos created, and this is a small step towards a huge ethical problem. We know a while back we had the cloning of monkeys, and then we had the mixing of monkeys and pig hybrids in China. And now we have this. This is a very huge ethical medical problem. Frankenstein science. This is on The Conversation by Julian Zavulescu, visiting professor in biomedical ethics in Murdoch Children's Research Institute in Oxford, UK, Oxford University, and Cesar Palacios Gonzalez, Senior Research Fellow, Practical Ethics, University of Oxford. Scientists have created the world's first monkey embryos containing human cells in an attempt to investigate how the two types of cell develop alongside each other. The embryos, which were derived from a macaque and then injected with human stem cells in the lab, were allowed to grow for 20 days before they were destroyed. We have a term for this type of life form. It's called a chimera, named after the first fire-breathing monster of Greek mythology that was part lion, part goat, part snake. It's hoped that part human chimeras, especially animal bodies with some human organs or other characteristics, might one day offer clues to help us treat human diseases. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. So their hope is to treat human diseases, from what they say, and essentially with these animal bodies with human organs, provide clues helping to treat human diseases, as well as providing organs to transplant to humans. But for these purposes, part human chimeras will first have to be born, and this research takes us one step closer to that eventuality. That's ethically controversial because these creatures could possess an ambiguous moral status somewhere between that of humans, which we don't tend to experiment upon, and animals, which we do. How we end up treating part human chimeras will depend upon the moral status we assign them, a task that these latest embryonic experiments only makes more pressing. Now, why make chimeras? There are several rationales for pursuing this line of research. Human monkey chimeras could be created to study parts of the brain, for instance, so we can better understand Alzheimer's disease. Another goal is to grow human organs for transplanting by deleting the relevant organ from the animal's genetic instruction and replacing it with human stem cells to fill the development niche. Previously, the same researchers explored this avenue in pigs, seen as ideal because their organs are about the same size as ours. However, not enough human cells took to create a functional chimera. The research failed. Now, monkeys are evolutionarily closer to us, so there's a greater chance that cells will interact effectively with each other. The stated goal of the human monkey experiments is to understand and perfect the development of chimeras in primates before transferring the technology to pigs. As we intensively farm and eat pigs, there are thought to be fewer ethical concerns with harvesting organs from pigs. Hence, primate research is a stepping stone and not a goal itself. Future chimeras, whether part pig or part primate, living chimeras that feature human cells are certainly possible in the future. How such animals would look and function would depend in part on the numbers of non-human and human cells. Previous experiments, for instance, have produced a goat-sheep entity that had both woolly and coarse hair. And this research clearly has the yuck factor, meaning it's likely to provoke moral revulsion. If pigs or monkeys are eventually developed with humanized features, it could cause major public opprobrium, perhaps setting back public acceptance of science significantly. However, this must be balanced against a severe shortage of organs for transplantation. In the US, for example, more than 100,000 people are currently waiting for an organ. I thought that we were able to create organs in a petri dish or something. organs from a stem cell or something. What happened to that idea? I don't know. Anyway, going back to this, we tend to get over the yuck factor when lives are at stake. The production of the AstraZeneca vaccine, for instance, using cell lines from fetal cells, I'm not going to go into that. That, to me, you can use the umbilical cord cells. You could use the other types of. Why do you have to use aborted fetal cells? Anyway, moral status. Moral status is the concept of treating life forms according to their interest and capacities. For example, humans are generally thought to have higher moral status than monkeys, who have higher moral status than pigs, who have higher moral status than worms. Moral status is linked to mental capacities such as consciousness, self-consciousness, moral capacities, and rationalities. In the future, some non-human chimeras could develop mental capacities between ordinary animals and humans. That presents a huge challenge for those of us who work to determine the moral status of living creatures and the rights and obligations that follow that status. Moral status is already one of the most contested areas of practical ethics, and recent work on speciesism makes a compelling case that we have wrongly assigned animals a lower moral status. Despite this, non-human chimeras will probably be regarded as lesser than humans, though by how much it is difficult to determine. There are two ways to tackle ethical concerns over the moral status of part human chimeras. Scientists could genetically edit human stem cells so they do not become brain cells, but this may not be possible or even desirable in the case of building models for human brain disease. Alternatively, scientists could allow such chimeras to be born so that we can determine their moral status by studying them. This would raise other ethical issues, as it would require the newborn to be subjected to novel behavioral tests of cognition, communications, and other mental capacities. And what about hybrid futures? Further into the future, chimeras discoveries could give humans capacities found elsewhere in the animal kingdom, like a bat's sonar, if we accept moral status based on a creature's capacities, such as enhanced humans could one day be regarded as superior to us. Seeing as we're already struggling with issues of equality between human beings, it would seem we're poorly prepared for the ethical challenges presented by future advances in chimera research. The issue of moral status is a philosophical and ethical question. Science might help us in detecting it with information about the extent of a non-human animal's capacities, for instance, but it can't tell us what it is. This new research shows it's a concept in urgent need of attention. I'm sorry I had to, I just want to put this article out there. This is amazing what this Frankenstein science is going to. Really. Anyway, please leave your comments and thank you for your support.